What's up? Welcome back to the podcast. We're going to dive in today to some questions that we got on YouTube. So if you have left a question on the first couple episodes, it's going to get answered. So thank you guys. If you're leaving those questions, the way I look at it is if we haven't already covered it or we're not going to cover it in depth, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. The questions that we're going to answer today, we probably will end up going in more depth on later. But I just wanted to get to them, to get this episode out, to help some of you guys out there that are planning on starting this year, because these are mainly starting questions. I'm starting a business this year, or I just did a few houses last year and I'm really trying to amp it up this year. So first question on YouTube from SCunes302, sorry if I got your name wrong, says, how do you attract more leads? It's a good question. Marketing's going to be a big deal. We're going to talk about ChatGPT a lot on how to facilitate your marketing program because it's got a lot of answers. You just have to learn how to prompt it right. But the first thing that I want to say to address that question is, well, how do you attract anything? The first thing you have to do is put yourself out there. Like if you're a dude looking for a girlfriend, what do you got to do? You got to go be where the girls are. You got to be where the girls are at that you think that you want to date, right? You got to put yourself out there. If you're in high school and you're trying to attract the girls, well, maybe you go to the events that they're at. If you're in college, maybe you go to church. There's a lot of girls at church, or maybe you go to the club or whatever. You've got to put yourself out there, and it's the same in business. You have to put yourself out there. You have to create a presence in the world to let people know that, hey, I'm in this business and I want to do your lights. So part of that is your circle. That's your best place to start, is your circle. Your family, your close friends, and your friends of your close friends and your friends of your family. That's the circle you want to put yourself out there. I'm not even talking about social media marketing yet. I'm talking about talking about your business and being excited about your business. That's the first step. Let them know what you're doing and be excited about it when you tell them, and follow through and do the thing that you say you're going to do, right? If you're going to talk about it. I think that's sometimes where we have a gap in mentality is, I know that I talk about a lot of ideas, and so I don't always let them out. I don't talk about them to people, outside my close family and friends until it's action. I'm ready to go. I know I'm doing it. I've committed. I'm ready to rock and roll. Outside of that, your presence online. Create a Facebook page. If you're in your first year, do not overwhelm yourself with trying to do everything. You'll get overwhelmed and you'll quit. You may not quit the Christmas light part of it, but you'll quit the social media part of it, right? Pick one platform and hammer down on that. Post 2 times a day. It's probably going to be Facebook is your best bet for your local community, because that's what the target market that you're looking for typically gets on Facebook more than anything else. It's pretty typical. So go to ChatGPT and just ask it. Start prompting it. If I'm going to run not ad campaigns, but for the free stuff, I'm just going to put 2 posts up a day. This is my business. You tell ChatGPT to pretend that you're a Facebook marketing expert for local community. You can even list your local city. Give me this many prompts. I want to do 2 per day, blah blah blah, to increase exposure for my business without overwhelming people, thinking you don't want them to think hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. You want to provide value. And that's what we do. We provide value. Okay, next question. A. Burns actually I'm going to go to Boomer Barber on YouTube. Van or truck? Getting into the business. Do I get a van or truck? That's a great question, honestly. It's a really great question. So I'm just going to walk you through some thoughts that I have to help you decide what's best for you. Because everything that we're going to talk about is what's best for you, your company, your family. Van or truck? Well, do you have a truck already? If you already have a truck, it may be easier just to go get an enclosed trailer if you have the money to do that. A single wheel enclosed trailer, you could get a 10-footer, or you can go with we run 14-foot enclosed trailers. It doesn't matter if it has a ramp on the backside or the double doors on the backside. The door on the side of the trailer is super handy, and you can rig that out. You can find a used trailer on Facebook Marketplace for, anywhere from $3,500 to say $7,000, depending on what kind of shape they're in. And a 14-foot to 16-foot double axle, or even a single wheel trailer. We're probably going to, I've never had an enclosed single wheel trailer for Christmas lots. We've always run trucks and 14-foot double axle trailers. That's just for the safety of, I say safety, the reliability. If an axle goes down, you're not going to tear everything up. But I'm probably going to buy a single wheel this year for me, for those jobs that I've got my crew leader and my crew out running, doing jobs 5 days a week, and occasionally I need to grab a trailer and go do a job by myself, or grab a helper and do that. So instead of me trying to keep all the stuff in my truck, it's nice to just have a trailer I can grab with everything that I need already in it and go out. Now, if you don't have a truck already, a van seems like a great idea. You will have a dedicated vehicle for that business. You need to wrap it. Vans don't look good, white vans running down the road. You need to have some sort of marketing on it, so it just doesn't look like a white van, because presentation is important on how you present yourself to the customer. So I like the idea of a van. If you can wrap it and make it look good, or you don't have to wrap the whole thing, but just do some vinyl, some decals that make it look professional. Puts, if it has some ladder racks, you mentioned it may have some ladder racks on the top. You may be able to find that. If it's a good deal, then you're good to go. The cons of a van is it's another engine. It's another engine to maintain. It's another four wheels to maintain, which a dual axle trailer is the same thing. It's 4 wheels to maintain, right? But it's another engine, and it's a dedicated vehicle to that specific service. So if that goes down, what's your backup? Well, if my trailer goes down, I can fix it pretty quick. I can replace an axle, I can replace tires pretty quick, and you can replace tires on a van pretty quick. But if you have an engine failure, then it's going to be an issue. You also think about insurance. Insurance on a trailer is a lot cheaper than insurance on a van. However, flip side of that, putting employees in a van at some point is safer, less likely for them to damage something than putting them in a truck and trailer. So those are the things, the pros and cons that you need to go through to see if that works for you. I might get a van now, for my secondary vehicle, although I like just being in my truck and having I have other tools in there too, and grabbing a trailer to go. But I've driven trailers my whole life. If you haven't, then a van might be a good option for you. All right, A-Burn 70. This is a good one. Business side of things, should you go 12-inch or 15-inch on your spacing? Well, if you're just starting out, that's a great question. If you've already started and you've locked into one or the other, stick with it. It's hard to switch back and forth. We do not offer different sizing options for customers. We've always stuck with 15-inch. We started with 15-inch. The reason that we started with 15-inch is that, we drove around and looked at, everybody was doing 12-inch 13 years ago when we started. And we found that there was an option for 15-inch. It was purely a business decision. It's cheaper for you to install 15-inch, and you can charge the same amount of money for it. That whatever the going rate in your industry or in your market is. Purely business. So, you just take your cost. Go to our website, lawnandlight.com, look up the cost of the bulbs, clips, and socket wire, and then add that up for what it would be 12-inch per foot, and then add that up for what it would be 15-inch per foot. And if you like 12-inch that much more, and you're okay with paying a little bit extra for it, then go for it. I personally don't think that 15-inch looks any much different than 12-inch. I actually prefer it. Go with your preference. You asked about removal. When you give a contract to the customer, and all this stuff for us is in Jobber. There's a link in our description if you want to sign up for Jobber. We are affiliate, just full disclosure. We have it in our contract details in Jobber that we will remove your lights, the customer, between January 2nd and January 31st. This could be a little bit different depending on where you are. I've heard snow could affect those things or whatever, but generally you want to get them down as quick as possible. And a couple things to make sure of is that you let your customer know that. We'll get them down as soon as possible. We start on the 2nd, and we promise to have them all down by X date. We say the 31st. You could say whenever you want to. If there's certain scenarios where that is where your customer is going to want something different, but if you tell them up front that, look, we're putting you on the schedule. You're not going to get a reminder. We're just going to show up one day and take them down. There are some customers that say, hey, I want to leave them up till like February 10th. My family's coming in town from Mississippi, and we're actually celebrating Christmas on February 5th. You're like, okay, great. We'll just make a note in your system. There's instances where people will ask, I want my lights down on January 2nd. Okay, there's not a lot of people that request either one, so you can accommodate these people and do that, accommodate them. This is one thing that brings me back to Jobbers. It's so important. We use Jobber. I'm going to talk about Jobber. Whatever system that you have to figure out some way to tag your customers. In Jobber, you can tag them however you want to tag them, which means that it's easy to search groups of customers. And what I mean by that is for every 2025 customer that we get, we'll put a tag in Jobber that says this is a 2025 customer, a new customer. And then we'll also put this is a general Christmas lighting customer, so that at the end of the season, we can pull that tag up of all our Christmas light customers from years past and this year. That way we can create a route to go take them all down. Another question is lease or buy the lights. We're probably going to have a full episode on that, so stay tuned for that so we can go through the pros and cons per se of leasing or buying lights. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Remember, love God, love others, and let your work reflect that. We'll catch you on the next one.